Yeah, so I got a question. What are you watching?
All right, fine. Damn.
You just gotta let it flow. You gotta let it kind of whenever it feels
Right.
whenever it feels right. You just gotta go with it.
Exactly.
Okay.
I believe in you.
I don't. Paul might need you to jump in. All right. Well, so this is Bingeaholics Anonymous, House of Cards, season 5, episode 1 and 2. Yeah, we're doing 2. I don't have my clapper with me today. This is a special live episode. Well, as live as it usually is, but in person over here with Paul, and we have our Walking Dead foreign correspondent, D-Rod.
Yeah.
Also known as J-Rock.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's helping us out. He's over here watching House of Cards with us. Yeah, this is actually the first one we ever recorded in person. We're using one mic, so I'm not sure how it's going to come out sounding. We'll find out. D-Rod's still in Colombia, though. He's not allowed back in the country for various reasons.
The whole Trump thing, man. It's just really fucked me over.
Got kicked out and then not let back in. Yeah, so I mean, it's been a while since we've been on here. We had Billions and 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Yep.
And even longer since Walking Dead's been over. So D-Rod's been over itching to jump.
Yeah, I've been MIA for a while.
Yeah. He's been polishing his podcasting skills.
Just do want to point out that it's interesting because you're next to me, but there's a delay on here.
What?
So, like, you'll finish a sentence, and then, like, a second later, you're finishing it in my headset.
Huh. So I'll just try to, like, kind of talk real slow at the end.
Or just like, pause at the end. Like, after
or
just,
or, like, stop, like, abruptly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, working out the kinks. Like I said, first time we're doing it in person live. Normally, I don't have to look at his ugly mug, but now I'm here looking at it.
Well, it's worth it. Yeah, Candlelight.
Yes. Shout out to Candlelight. Best wings around. We didn't take a picture and send it to D-Rod, which was
thank God.
Mistake on our part.
I was just just wanted to eat it. I didn't want to wait.
Yeah, impatient, which I'm fine with. It was delicious.
Next time we'll take a picture and send it to
you. Yeah.
I hate you guys.
Yeah. We'll get like Candlelight and Chicken Joe's, bring them both back, and take a picture of all of it together.
Just have like a giant cornucopia.
Yeah.
On the table. And Carvel.
You guys are just so fat. Like, do you hear yourselves right now?
I mean, I'm doing it to make you mad, though. So it's not.
I hate you. I already hate you guys.
I will sacrifice my personal well-being just to get you jealous of what I'm eating.
Yeah, because I know you can't have it, and you'll have it for a while. So,
fuck you.
Yeah.
I could video chat you while I eat it.
It just sends you a video of every individual
wing that
you eat. This is wing 1. This is wing 2. Just keep going with it.
I hate you guys. Oh, but Tony, I got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
What you watching?
Oh, see, I told you figure it out.
Yeah.
You just find the natural flow of the conversation. So what I'm watching is actually kind of funny. It's a Netflix show. It's called F is for Family. And it's you know who Bill Burr is, the comedian?
Yes.
Yeah, he kind of wrote it, made it, whatever. I don't think he drew it. I don't think he's that talented, but it's kind of I guess like loosely based on his childhood, and it follows like his father kind of. And it's a cartoon. I don't know if I said that, but it's just I don't know. It's kind of funny. He plays this little kind of dorky kid, and then his dad is just like always like yelling and mad, and I don't know. It's a funny cartoon, but it's got some like heartfelt moments in there, I guess. Some like family stuff, but
well, Bill Burr's a great comedian.
Yeah. No, he's not just like a funny guy, but he kind of one of those few comedians that actually speaks the truth, kind of makes sense when he says stuff. A lot of comedians just go out there and say stupid stuff, but him, Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., like there's a top tier that, when they talk, people listen.
Yeah.
But so that's what
pretty
I've
cool.
been watching. It's interesting. The second season just came out. That's why I started watching it again.
Probably gonna have to check it out then.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But after that, Trailer Park Boys is on the list. Yeah. Which I think we were watching a couple episodes over here, and I said, I think I've seen this season before. I don't know if this is exactly new, but it's good regardless. Anyway, so I'll hop into House of Cards.
Yeah. let's do it.
Season 5, episode 1. I'll be honest, I didn't remember anything that happened last season or any season.
Yeah. You know how like when like
honest.
start the season they have like that little recap? I saw the whole thing. Like it was like a 5-minute recap of like what happened before.
Oh, that didn't even play.
I watched it twice. I actually watched it before I played the episode, and then when I played the episode, it started playing it again, and I watched it again, and I still didn't know what was going on.
Yeah,
So,
it's a hard show to follow.
I mean, you guys started watching it recently, right?
Yeah.
If I'm like a couple months ago, maybe. I watched the first season, the first year it came out.
Oh.
And, every year it would come out and I just watch it in like less than a week. So it's
Then like wait a whole year. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you forget about what happens. You just wait a whole year for it. But, once I started watching, I kind of started remembering certain things.
Yeah.
But it starts out, I guess last season ended up when there was the Miller family, right? I think that was the name of the Miller family. They got kidnapped by ICO, which is supposed to be like ISIS.
Yeah, it was like these two like kids they found out, like 17-year-olds or something, I think it was.
Yeah, they were like homegrown American, whatever.
Yeah.
And they took this family hostage, and then if I'm not mistaken, now just feel free to jump in if I'm wrong, he negotiated with them and basically told them to kill one of them, or he let them kill one of them.
Yeah, he was trying to negotiate with the governor, the one that he's like running against. And then out of nowhere, like Frank just took over and he was like, no, like we're just not gonna negotiate with terrorists or something like that. Because they also had like at the same time that they're talking to him, they had like the sole like like FBI like officer or whatever, like trying to like find them. So I guess he was kind of like delaying, and then at the end he was just like, no, we're not gonna negotiate it. I believe that's what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was like they managed to negotiate that the mother and the daughter would be like released, and they did. And then they were negotiating with the like terrorist leader that they wanted to free. And they put him up on the mic
on the phone.
Terrorists, yeah. And they had like this whole thing like set up where he was like, all right, just turn yourselves in. And then he was just at the last second was just like, nah, fuck it.
Oh yeah,
kill the guy, like whatever. And then we did it live. But at some point the president was just like, no, like, you got me on the phone twice, like this is how it's gonna be. And then they did it.
Yeah, and so I'm guessing when all that happened, the family was aware of what was going on, because he went to the dad's funeral, who they cut his head off, and the daughter went up to him and was like, I hope you die, and she becomes president, talking about Claire. So some hard feelings there. I don't know if I don't blame her, but
yeah, I think they probably heard that the president just said at the end, like, I don't want to negotiate or something, or try to like stiff arm the terrorists, I guess you could say, and they blame him, obviously.
There's that whole thing, we don't negotiate with terrorists, like,
yeah,
which I don't know why we make that statement so publicly known. Like, you should be like, yeah, we'll negotiate with you, and then you get them in close, and you have a SEAL team just take him out. Like, if you just like close that door from the start, like, hey, maybe the guy only wants like $1,000, and I'll give you this family back. Like, maybe he doesn't realize how like American money works.
I'm
true.
Guess you're not wrong.
I'm not saying we have to negotiate with every terrorist. Just leave it on the table. Make sure it's an
You never
option.
know. You never know. Yeah.
See what he wants.
Yeah.
Go from there.
Again, maybe he wants the McRib back at McDonald's. Like, that's totally attainable.
That's true. You got a point.
And I'm sure a lot of people would agree with that cause. Yeah, kidnap that family. Let's get them a McRib back,
If the government's listening right now to this, good idea.
Just keep it in mind. But yeah, he uses this. And it's kind of crazy watching this now with what's going on, like
Oh yeah.
in the current political landscape or what have you. Um, so there's a whole thing with Conway and his wife, or well, his wife shows like sympathy for the terrorist mother on social media, and there's a whole thing. Obviously, President Trump doesn't know how to shut up on social media. It's how it can get people in trouble. And then even the whole thing with the travel ban. He wants to do a travel ban to like kind of protect from ICO, which is exactly what was going on, in the whole primaries and the elections and everything with Trump. But I heard the show was actually this season was actually written before all that happened.
Yeah, it was.
Which is pretty crazy because I would have thought that they saw that going on. Like, oh, that's actually a pretty good storyline for a TV show.
Yeah, but like what House of Cards is doing, I mean, with the whole ICO thing that Frank's trying to do, he's trying to like make it a big deal because he wants everybody to forget about what the author of the newspaper is talking about. Remember that? That's how like this last season ended when like he like publicly like made it known that like Frank may have like done some terrible shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we've seen, that doesn't necessarily mean anything to anybody. Like, our president now is said to be colluding with Russia, and everyone's like, all right, well, there's nothing we can do about that now.
Yeah.
Well, as long as they keep the illegals out, that's all people care about.
Goddamn Mexicans.
that's like 100% all it is. It's like, oh man, like you're committing treason. That's okay. Just build that wall.
Just make sure none of them brown skinned folk make it over.
Yeah, exactly.
We're joking, of course.
They're not. They're really not.
There's some dirty gringos.
No, it is crazy to see like how this show is kind of like, they wrote the show before all this was happening. It's just crazy to see how all this is now happening.
Oh yeah, they wrote it thinking like, yeah, this can't happen, and surprise.
We talked about this like off camera too, but it's like in House of Cards, like you're rooting for Frank and Claire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, know they're corrupt. They're doing some shady shit, but you're just like, yeah, like go Frank, go Claire. Fuck the reporters. And then, like in real life, it's like, dude, no, reporters, do your job, please. Like save the country. And I think Tony said it was like, that's because it's a TV show. It's not like real.
Yeah.
And it's like you would watch this and you would never think that this shit could happen in real life, like the way everything's going, and then it is, and it's fucking absurd.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just dumb luck or they had good foresight to kind of see where it was going. But I feel like that happens with TV shows. Like I've never watched Homeland, but I heard Homeland like kind of predicted a lot of things before it happened.
You really didn't?
I've never watched it. Because I always heard that the first season was awesome, and then like everything after that wasn't worth it.
Up until I saw it till the third season, and then it looked like it was gonna end like the whole show, and they just changed up the whole storyline. And I was like, "Fuck this! I'm not gonna watch." So I stopped after season 3. But like I thought it was good up until season 3.
I watched like through season 5. After
they changed the whole thing.
A reboot of the series, basically, which was dumb.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with what happened before, so I was like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, it's a 5-season show. That's an investment. It's something you got to invest some time in. And there's other things I'd rather watch first. So I'm not against it. It's just working my way towards it. But yeah, I mean, this whole episode, and you could tell it's going to be like this for the next couple episodes. I mean, D-Rod, because you've seen it, but it's just the Underwoods just kind of maneuvering and angling to get themselves reelected, because I mean, everything they're doing with like from the travel ban to all the press conferences for ICO, and even some stuff that happens later on in the second episode, none of it. You can tell it's not about stopping the terrorists or whatever. It's about getting reelected.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to see, because you can kind of see some of our own politicians like saying and doing stuff, and then if you see it from that like kind of behind the scenes perspective, not that it's 100% accurate, but you can see that a lot of times there's ulterior motives behind it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's like in the beginning of episode 1 where he like just walks into Congress. He's like not supposed to.
Yeah.
Like he did that because
he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and because he like I think at one point in the episode, like later on, you see like on the TV like a scene of him sitting there yelling at Congress. Like he did all that just for the image and like what it would look like. He doesn't give a shit about ICO.
Yeah,
actually going to war.
It looks like he's standing up to like the bullshit bureaucracy of just like, this 2-party system where everyone's always arguing with each other. He's just like, I'm trying to fight through this just to get, help the people out, whatever. Yeah, that was a good way to put it. He just did it all for the image of it, being on CNN, just showing him yelling at Congress, trying to get things done. Yeah, but so later in the episode, he ends up finding the terrorist, quote unquote, which turns out, and this shouldn't have surprised anybody, but he had them all along. And
it's crazy.
Yeah, he was doing this manhunt to kind of build that fear of like, oh my God, there's a terrorist on the loose. When he was never. He was always in their control, but again, kind of doing this thing for the public image, just so he could come in and save the day. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy because, like, I mean, it's an American citizen, and like basically all his like rights, just he didn't give a shit. Like, he has them locked away underground. No one has any idea. And then like at the end of the conversation, he tells like the guy to like dispose of him. Like, and the guy's like, but he's an American citizen. He's like, I don't. No, he lost that right when like he killed the guy or whatever, like chopped off his head. But like still, I don't know, I think that's a little overboard.
Well, yeah, I think it's just showing you like how he doesn't like give a shit about the law, right?
Yeah.
Like, that guy should have rights still, right? I mean,
technically,
yeah.
Doesn't matter like what we think. Like, hey, he's an asshole. He killed somebody, cut his head off. Like, he should have rights, but technically he still does. But the president doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, whatever, kill him.
Bug it, kill him. Yeah, no, it's and he set it up so it looked like he killed him in a shootout kind of thing. But yeah, that's kind of where and one more thing with that was he said that, well, he was telling, all right, so stick with me here for a second. He was telling the press that, he was working with this network inside the country. There was this whole terrorist network in the United States. But then when you find out that he has him hostage, or he has him captive, he goes, but he told us everything he knows. He said there's no one else that he's, working with. So it turns out he was just some lone nut job, but he's, again, spinning it so that people, see, oh, Frank Underwood, he's protecting us from big bad ICO or whatever.
Yeah.
So again, kind of just working that angle. But I mean, that's about everything for episode 1. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else?
Yeah, I think he's like trying to really like push this like fear about everything.
Yeah.
To kind of make people feel like they need him. Like if he can protect them, then they'll elect him again, or not again, but they'll elect him and all that kind of stuff. Which I mean makes sense from like a strategy standpoint. Like if you can get everybody fearful about something and protect them from that something, I think you get the votes, right?
Yeah.
So
no, and that's what Trump did this last election, which the whole the bad hombres thing, and and saying that how Obama was weak on ISIS, when meanwhile I think he dropped the most bombs of any president. Like, just kind of saying stuff to kind of drum up fear to get people, worried and concerned. And it worked. It worked for Trump. So I'm guessing it's going to work for Frank, because otherwise we're going to have a pretty short season on our hands if he loses the election. And it's like a week's time at this point. Like,
yeah. Now he just like deployed the national, or was that the next episode?
I think it was next episode. We can get into it though. Yeah. So he deploys the National Guard.
Oh, yeah. So he like, I guess just like deployed the National Guard to start protecting like voting centers and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is something that Conway like did not like at all. But this is kind of like jumping ahead into the second episode. I think it's happened at the end. But Conway's like gonna go out trick or treating with his kids, and the National Guard just like shows up in Humvees. And he like starts ranting and raving about how Frank never served, he doesn't know what he's doing, this and that, and like looks bad on him.
Yeah.
It doesn't look bad on Frank. So I think he was doing it to make it harder for people to vote for Conway, but also to kind of like maybe bait Conway into doing something stupid, and it worked.
Yeah, it worked, and I thought it was an interesting scene after that when like it shows Frank and Claire watching that on TV, and they're just like, "You want a drink to celebrate or whatever," and it's just kind of funny seeing them just like watching everything unfold for them.
Just shows how smart both of them are. Like they basically planned everything out. They like said, all right, we're gonna, like what you guys been saying, create fear, and that's what like Frank said he wanted to do. He wanted to create make it like be the terror or whatever, and making people like be afraid and like basically want Frank, and showing that he's putting the Coast Guard. He's like saying like, yo, I'll protect you guys, like, you know. And Conway just obviously thinks it's ridiculous, and he knows that Frank's doing it just for the votes. So that's why he just loses it, because I guess, you know, he doesn't have the experience or whatever. So he just loses it on camera and like fucks himself a little bit.
Plus his wife like kind of didn't help things in the previous episode where she like showing sympathy and shit. So
yeah, exactly.
Like, he kind of seems starting to like maybe implode a little bit. Plus like his VP saying shit that he doesn't want him to say.
Yeah.
You know, he's saying that he's like a war hero and all this, and Conway like didn't want that at all. So he's having a difficult time.
Which I feel like if you're running for president, you got to run with that.
The war hero thing, yeah. I would be okay with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even if you're not, I'm not ever gonna advocate stolen valor. But you know, if someone says, "Hey, that guy's a war hero," I'm not gonna say, "No, I'm not." I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. Well, he said it. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like though maybe he doesn't want people to know, because maybe he doesn't feel like he is a war hero. Like he feels like, you know how sometimes they do shit and they're not proud of whatever. So I think it's because like something like that.
Like the last episode or two of like the previous season when he's like negotiating, he's like, yeah, no, I regret everything I did.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm happy or like, you know, proud of myself for dropping bombs and all that kind of stuff. So it's maybe he really isn't proud of that.
Yeah, he definitely did something.
If that's like what it really is, then that's bad too, because it doesn't really help you with the votes like other veterans and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know, if that is really what happened, if it was something, you know, he's not too proud of, if that comes out right before the election, you know, it doesn't look too good on you. You know, like saying maybe you bombed a village or something.
Yeah.
You know, if that comes out like a week before election, that could be a Hillary email scandal all over again. Which I'm calling it. That's what's going to happen this season. They're going to call the election the same way, you know, that had happened, just obviously a little different characters. There's a scandal that's going to come out about what happened to him in the military, and it's going to ruin the election for him. That's my call.
But he'll still win the popular vote because of illegal votes.
Bad hombres voting 3 or 4 times. What else we got? So yeah, the whole thing with why he was sent in the military and was because he was cutting down on the voting centers, right? And he was going to use them to defend the voting centers, which I think we were saying this before the show, right? It was like, I didn't know that voting centers were like a target for like, you know, terrorism, which I thought was just like, I mean, I get why he's doing it, but like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, so he's doing like key states too, right?
Yeah.
Like it's only like 5 like states that he's setting up like these big voting centers.
It's like the swing states.
Yeah. So I think he's playing it as, you know, to protect people and all that kind of stuff. They feel safe. But I think he's also trying to make it just really difficult for people who like want to get out and vote, maybe like Republican.
Yeah.
They can't do it as easily. Which is smart, I guess. But at the same time, like if you set up these voting centers like that, wouldn't that hurt Democrats too who wanted to vote for Frank? They would have to still travel, right?
Well, go. What are you gonna say?
All right. Like the reason why he does it, like you find out later on in the episodes, like why he does it, and there's a reason. There's a method for his madness. But you guys, I guess you could imagine like why he's doing it. He's doing it for the votes. Like he's doing it to somehow he's working an angle. Like, you know, he's always trying to like worked some sort of angle like people don't really realize. And this is like another one of those things. Like later on, you'll find out why he does it, and it actually like it helps him in the end.
Right, and I appreciate you having watched the whole season already, being careful with how you word
Yeah.
it. I appreciate that. I mean, what I kind of got from it was the counties he picked were like always like Republican counties.
Okay.
I think they said that in the meeting with like the governor's staff or whatever of all those states.
Right. Doug like listed off like certain counties and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, those are all Republican counties or whatever. So I think that's. I mean, I'm sounds like there's more to it.
Yeah, but you're heading in the right direction.
Okay, that's good to know. My gut instinct. Yeah. So, again, scheming, plotting, scamming.
It's all about the votes right now at this point.
All while this is going on, he loses his old buddy Tim, his old tummy stick partner.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while either.
Yeah, I mean, since they like almost kissed that one season.
Yeah, and they talked about like all their moments together, like I think in college or something.
Yeah, that's they had their little fling going.
Yeah, I was gonna say so basically they were involved, right?
Yeah.
It was like being blood.
They never outright say it, I don't think, but like they say it. Like they say with their eyes. They just look at each other. It's like, oh,
yeah,
it's one of those. Yeah, so he goes missing, he dies, yada yada yada. I don't know what that really had to do with most of the episode, but
I mean, I don't know. I guess they just killed off a character, but like I think it was just to show how like they did have a thing, because you saw how like the wife like was when she found out, and like they like we know that he meant something pretty big for Frank. So
right.
I think also maybe it's kind of done to like show maybe he has like some skeletons in his closet still.
Okay.
That we like don't know. We don't know everything, because Claire talks to Ken, who like first tells her, and she's like, "You even said yourself you have a big mouth." So maybe they're just kind of like implying, like setting it up to be like, maybe this might come back to her Frank or something like that. Because even like We Live in 2017, where like, or I don't know where this show takes place. It's 2016, I guess, for the season, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah, probably 16.
Probably 16. There's nothing wrong with like being gay or anything, but I can only imagine the scandal that would be for a president. So maybe that's what they're just trying to do with that.
Yeah, no, and that's actually good you brought that up, because he was like, he says to Claire, like, oh, how come he didn't call me back? I guess he called him at some point earlier, something to do with Wall Street, and Frank never called him back. So maybe, who knows, he takes it personal, he goes and talks to somebody, leaks a scandal, which at this point the guy's dead, so how much, it's just kind of hearsay. But, unless there's pictures, which maybe there was pictures back then, I don't know.
But it could though hurt him in the election, because it's all about the election at this point. So maybe that's why they kind of freaked out.
Maybe that's the Hillary scandal that comes out.
Yeah.
So we can agree there's definitely going to be some type of Hillary scandal. We're just not sure on which candidate yet.
Yeah.
Right. Or maybe it comes out that Claire is sleeping with Tom, the speechwriter. That's another possibility. I mean,
they got a lot of skeletons, man.
A lot of skeletons. And
Tom started opening his mouth a little bit.
Yeah, he's getting a little mouthy.
Yeah.
Talking to that reporter when he shouldn't have. Getting a little rapey with Claire in that scene. So maybe Tom's not as good as he seems to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just has the look of like a sexual predator. Like that look on his face. He just looks like he shouldn't be allowed around children.
It's something about him. It's just you can't trust him.
It's the poor 5 o'clock shadow. He says like he never like grows a beard. It just stays at a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you see that in a guy, there's something wrong with that.
Yeah.
I feel like though Tom is irrelevant to the whole show. Like I don't know why he's still there.
Well, I mean, they keep him around, so I'm guessing something is gonna happen with him at some point.
Yeah, I mean that's like another like skeleton in her closet, right? Because like she's basically having an affair with him.
Yeah.
You know, the last time that she was having an affair and it came out, they were able to spin it.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, maybe this time they can't spin it if it comes out. That looks shitty too. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
You think for somebody as smart as like Claire, that she wouldn't get involved in that way?
I mean, she's
Like,
got needs, man.
Yeah, but if that does come out, like that's the thing. It's not a risk.
I don't know. They're both hoes.
well, I mean, she was looking at Frank when he was with Zoe in like season 1, and she's
Oh
like,
yeah, she didn't care.
when am I going to get mine? Like, she wants hers, she got his. So, I mean, you know, vice versa, vis-a-vis. Yeah, so let's talk about Kathy Durant. That lady. She's Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She tries talking to the vice president about potentially jumping ship because of the travel ban.
hmm
So the Underwoods aren't the only ones scheming. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I mean, Kathy's been around the block, and she knows how shady the Underwoods are.
Oh, Kathy's a wily old vet.
yeah.
She's been around. She's seen some things.
Yeah,
The
so-
president like knows because I having that conversation after that meeting. You know, she's like talking to him, and he was just like, "Yeah, you know, like my wife knew you were going to the dark side when you went to bed with Frank. Like she called it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, the vice president's just like, fuck it, I think.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, he's got what, like a month left, or I guess until they get sworn in like January or whatever. So he's just like, I'm just kind of coasting it out. You know, that happens to
Yeah.
anybody. You know, it's that kind of like the senioritis kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
Put in
just
your
ride
2
it
weeks
out.
notice.
Like, I'm done. I'm just gonna ride it out. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's to be something to keep an eye on. Because if that happens, you know, right before the election too, that's another thing that could throw a monkey wrench into the mix.
There's a lot of shit that can go wrong for
Yeah.
everybody here for this
Yeah.
election.
Yeah, there's a lot of things at stake. And most of it's pointing towards the Underwoods.
Yeah.
You know, there was that whole you know, thing we were talking about, the Conway that could happen, but other than that, everything is aimed right at the Underwoods. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
Another little thing I want to talk about for a little bit before we get into the main part at the end. I forget his name, but the press secretary, Seth. Yeah,
Yeah.
he offers to rat out Doug to the investigative committee,
Yeah.
and I just think it's kind of fucked up.
I mean,
Yeah.
Seth shouldn't be trusted because I mean he was working for what's his face? Remember that rich guy?
Oh, Tusk.
Yeah, he was working for Tusk, and
Forgot about
he jumped ship like right away. Like he even said, like I don't want money, I just want power, and I like the way you do things. You're sketchy like me. He's got no loyalty.
I mean, he seemed like he was pretty loyal for a while. I think the fact that like Doug almost kills him,
I mean,
you know,
that
doesn't sit well with him probably.
I mean, but I also think those because like he didn't expect it to be like just that shitty, like Underwood, like that sloppy or like you know that active or whatever. Like
Yeah.
you know, like he knew Underwood was sketchy, but like I don't think he knew to what extent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I think also it's like one of those things like, you know, I'm loyal to you as long as it benefits me. Like
Yeah,
as soon as it starts getting too sketchy or maybe you're not getting enough out of it, he'll be willing to jump ship.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll get into the big part of the episode at the end. When what's the guy's name? McAllen, the guy at the NSA.
Yeah.
He shuts down basically the entire like phone and internet to DC. Because he had now this is something that happened last season that I didn't really follow over on, but he put something in the NSA data. I think you were saying to swing the vote, kind of have things pop up on people's computers that could kind of maybe guide them one way.
Yeah, I think because Conway was using that polycop thing to do like the same thing. They were like using it to like influence voters, which isn't legal, right? I think they say like in the show, it's not something like you can really do. So he has polyhop, and then Frank decides to use. I mean, like if you use the NSA, that's ridiculous. Like, you can do whatever you want. So I think that's what they were doing. They were using the NSA's like database with that guy and his company to influence voters, and to like make it so like only certain news stories would pop up for people and stuff like that. Try to influence everybody into like Frank and Claire being like the correct choice to vote for.
Yeah.
Now I guess something's happening and they need to like delete all the information that they were there.
Yeah, well, there was, the auditors in there, right? That were like looking at all that stuff. So he was kind of worried about it, and he decided to take it out. And to do it, he had to kind of shut down the whole network. And his plan was to just shut it down, bring it back up real quick. But Frank told him, "Wait until I tell you to do it." And he blamed it on Ico to kind of create like a panic, create fear again, whipping his fear mongering.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the ball rolling. So, you see him doing more and more stuff, more drastic stuff to create fear. It's like how much farther is he going to go with this?
Like he's making it into a big deal when it really isn't. Like he's basically Ica. Like he's causing all the problems, and like he's just freaking out the whole country.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like what you said. He is the president is the terrorist.
Yeah.
He's the one causing terror. Ico there was two guys that said, "Hey, we're with Ico," and like Ico's like, "We don't know them," and he just spun this into this giant terrorist network in the United States.
And like Ico's not gonna like say it's not them because like they're like if people think it's them, then they're gonna take it more seriously or something
Yeah, again, like if someone says you're a Purple Heart, veteran, like you're not gonna say no. You're just gonna be like, "Oh, we said it."
I guess I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like, any like terrorist attack, like a terror group could just take, responsibility for it. And they would never say no, right? Like the Orlando shooting nightclub. Like, I think ISIS took credit for that, right? I don't remember. But it's like, why wouldn't you? If you're a terrorist organization and some person who's not in your organization but like likes your cause goes and kills a bunch of people, like you're not gonna be like, no. I mean, like we supported it, but that wasn't us. Like you're gonna be like, yeah, that was us.
Yeah. No, it was said best on Dave Chappelle did his monologue on SNL, and he was just like, he was talking about the nightclub shooting, and he was like, yeah, just because you scream ISIS before you start shooting a bunch of people doesn't mean you're part of ISIS. Like if I just had sex with someone and I screamed out Wu-Tang during it, doesn't mean I'm part of the Wu-Tang clan. Like it's just because you're saying that you're part of ICO doesn't mean you're part of ICO.
Exactly. And Frank even says like, they're the ones that bring the terror. Like right, the last episode of last season, that's like the last thing he says. It's like we bring the terror. So yeah, he is ICO. Basically, he's causing all this shit.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, he's just, all to maintain power.
Yeah, which things like goes to show like his character. Like he's a real corrupt, power-hungry, psycho, smart person. Like, to do all of this shit just to get reelected to stay president.
He's not doing it like because he thinks he's a better president. He wants the power.
Yeah.
Like
he wants to be in charge.
Yeah, like the father of that family dying, like it benefits Frank more, I think, that the guy was killed, right? Like if they save the guy, you can't play up the fear as much. But if he dies, you can go on TV and be like, "This is ridiculous. I gotta go to war against ICO. They're killing American citizens on U.S. soil, and they're turning our kids into extremists." So, I think it's crazy that someone could like have that kind of like mindset to be that.
Yeah, you gotta be sick.
Yeah, and there was actually that one scene that kind of played into it when Claire went to talk to the terrorist mother, and she told her to say that, that one thing to the press when she was leaving, and she basically like, it can happen to any of you, like. Like you think your family's safe, but it could happen to your family, and that's like another thing, kind of just stirring the pot, getting people more worried about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's basically everything. Oh, one more thing I want to talk about. Not necessarily something that happened in this episode, just something that I noticed was how much he's aged over the last couple seasons.
Yeah.
Frank. Now he's got like the full on white hair. Like, you look season 1, he's got a healthy head of hair. There's no grays, no whites in there. And then
Yep.
you always see that with presidents, how
With all the stress that they got going on.
yeah, dealing with all those aliens and stuff.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, but that's how realistic it is.
Yeah.
The show.
No, it's
Yeah, I just think it's crazy how like the shit that's happening in this show is like happening in real life, right? Like it's just I can't believe like how
real.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a TV show, but like
Oh,
this shit's actually happening. So it's just crazy to fucking like watch this and be like, wow, it's kind of just like Trump with like this
literally.
fear thing and all that crazy shit.
yeah, it's just it's like I probably said to you guys while the election was going on, is like, I'm just waiting for Ashton Kutcher to jump out and just be like, you just got punked about this whole thing, because it was so ridiculous. And like they made a TV show about a corrupt politician, that was power hungry and would do anything necessary to get the office of presidency, and it's coming true in real life.
Yep.
Like, this is supposed to be like a TV character. It's supposed to be like a villain almost, and like our president is doing the same stuff. So I don't know what that says about our president or our country, but I don't want to get too political even though this is a very political show.
What if Frank just starts using Twitter like halfway through?
Yeah, it's literally the only thing that's like missing from the show.
Covfefe.
He just starts ranting on Twitter like 3 a.m. about random shit.
Claire snores so much. I can't sleep. So goddamn annoying.
Shit, I mean, maybe next season in House of Cards, we'll see the. We'll see
Yeah.
him using Twitter and
Possibility.
all that kind of stuff.
Tweeting out Covfefes.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see where the season goes, and the plan from here on out is we're going to be doing 2 episodes of podcast. Not exactly how sure we're going to be recording. We haven't really talked about that. We're looking at a once a week kind of thing, or maybe twice a week. What do you guys want to do? I don't know.
I mean, Deeper watched one.
He watched all of it, so
yeah, I watched all of it, and I'm actually finishing up a class. I should have a lot of free time next couple weeks.
okay. So we got some free time coming up.
Yeah.
We so like let's do like once a week, and then we can try to do twice a week, maybe like later, because I'll have vacation coming up like June 16th. So if we're still
Okay.
doing it by then, like at that
Oh
point,
yeah, we
like,
definitely
twice
will
a
be. I
week.
think.
Yeah, it's a week, 2 away.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do. I guess next Sunday we'll record again, and then take it from there. So see, like always, we don't do anything behind closed doors.
No.
You guys are an active part of our future planning of the podcast. You should feel privileged. Not many people get to listen to this because nobody listens to this.
Yeah. Don't make suggestions because we're not going to listen to you. But
Oh no, like we'll listen to what you're saying. We just probably won't do it. We'll just be like, oh, interesting, and then just go do what we want to do anyway.
Yeah.
But we appreciate the participation.
Yeah.
It means
It's
a
fun.
lot. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to just like make you think that you're doing something like helpful, and it's just like, nope, I'm not going to do that. Did we have an ad for this episode? Did we ever figure that out?
I didn't say that. I didn't say an
I
ad.
mean, you could just do the obvious cop-out ad with Candlelight.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
This episode is definitely sponsored by Candlelight. He was just like, hey, you want to have Candlelight this weekend? Sure. When you want to do the podcast? Oh, let's do it. We get Candlelight.
Yeah.
Done. All you need to tell me.
Yeah, so shout out to Candlelight. Amazing wings and fries as usual.
Yeah. I probably ate too much of it, but
It's okay, man.
I feel sick right now, but in a good way. I think their wings were like bigger this time. They started getting like smaller for a while. But I
Yeah,
think all the wings we had tonight were pretty good.
they fluctuate. And I noticed the last couple of times that the wings have been smaller, we've gotten 22 instead of 20, or like more than normally. You get whatever size we get, it's 20.
Yeah.
We get 10 and 10, but there's been a couple more the last couple times. So maybe I'm okay with them making the wings a little bit smaller, maybe throwing an extra couple wings in.
Yeah.
Not ideal, but I'll live with it.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. As long as they give a little extra.
Yeah, we need to have a food podcast because we just go off on these food tangents.
Yeah, definitely do that. Canale, Chicken Joe's.
We just go to like the same 4 places over and over and just talk about it. Man, I can't light again. Yesterday, it was the 3rd time this week.
I don't feel good.
My skin started to turn orange.
Is that why Trump?
He just
Looks
eats
like that, yeah.
Yeah, is he just at candlelit all the time?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a Trump Towers and White Plains. I'm sure he can make the drive from there.
Yeah, he's ordering wings from himself. He's making Chris Christie get like meatloaf.
You're getting the meatloaf.
Dude, like
Such
put the balls on somebody.
Yeah.
Just telling a grown man like, no, you're getting the meatloaf.
It's such a preposterous power move, like.
Right? And didn't he like get 2 scoops of ice cream and
Ridiculous.
everybody else get like 1?
Everybody gets 1. He gets 2 though.
It's like such a little kid.
It's like something if you ask like a 10-year-old like what rules he would make if he was
Yeah.
president, that would be is like I would get 2 scoops, everyone else would only get 1. All right, whatever you say, little Donnie.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was a decent first episode.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
felt a little sluggish, to be honest, with the candlelight.
Yeah.
Not the best pregame meal.
No.
Not very light on our feet.
We'll not be doing that again, most likely.
Yeah, and also this is a different kind of show than we're used to doing. There's no zombies, there's no
Yeah.
whatever. It's very political, and there's a lot of stuff that goes on that kind of goes over our heads, and that's why I kind of like doing these because we get to kind of talk it out and be like, oh well, one person can say this happened, the other person can be like, oh,
Yeah.
and then this happened, and you kind of piece it all together. It definitely helps because that when we did Young Pope when we first started out, throwing it back, there was so much stuff that all of us were just like, what the fuck is going on? And then we would talk it through and like, okay, well, it kind of makes sense now. Still doesn't make much sense, but
Yeah, well, there's like scenes with like there's all like animals and different scenes that like
yeah, there was
like related to what you like the turtles in the garden. There was like all the old slow like cardinals.
there was a kangaroo in the garden. Where'd the kangaroo come from? The kangaroo just running wild in the garden.
Fucking kangaroo.
Forgot about that. The kangaroo.
Yeah, no, it's like Billions was kind of difficult sometimes when they were talking about like stocks, so that shit just went right over my head.
Yeah. I mean, stocks are a little bit more easy to understand, at least for me, than like the goings on of the federal government.
No, yeah, exactly. So I'm saying, like, I thought like Billions at certain points, I was just like, can they slow down and like speak English?
Yeah.
But in this show too, it's a lot more. It's just like you're trying to because there's so much shit happening too.
Yeah.
You're trying to keep up with like every different like plot line happening, and then they're saying shit, and I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like the NSA stuff we were talking about before the episode.
Yeah.
Like 0-day devices and stuff like that. I don't know what the fuck was happening with that.
Yeah. No. See, with this show, I've noticed that like, something will happen. And if the same thing happened in another show, they'd be like, oh, well, this happened. That means that this, and this is going to happen. But when it happens in House of Cards, it just happens. And you have to think. You have to think about the consequences. And then you kind of start to realize that later down the line, as you see other things start happening. They don't like kind of lay it out for you as easily. So
Yeah, you gotta think and interpret everything.
right, exactly. So it's a little different. But I'm interested to see how the season goes because this is actually the first season that they have a different head writer. Or like
Oh, really? I did not know that.
yeah, the person who like kind of started the show moved on to bigger, better things, I guess. So this is but I mean I saw an interview with Michael Kelly, Doug Stamper.
Yeah.
And he was saying that they like promoted from within, so they had some people that were already working on the show that kind of took over. So hopefully it doesn't change too much, but
So
Yeah.
far, so good. Yeah, I thought the
Yeah.
show was pretty good.
yeah, I thought it was pretty good so far. But we got 8 more episodes, or no, more than that.
I think there are 12 in total, 12 or 13.
12 or 13, yeah. So, well, yeah. So we have to do a 3-episode finale, or maybe do a 1-episode finale if we're feeling crazy.
Yeah.
I'm feeling up to it, but that's about it. You guys have any last words?
No, man, just prepare for like a wild ride. This season's pretty insane. A lot more interpreting and thinking, but it's crazy. It's crazy what happens. I'm excited to talk about it with someone finally.
Yeah, for sure. Paul?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. See what happens. See what other shit they can come up with that like is now happening in real life.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see how many more predictions they get correct. We can give them the title of Nostradamus yet.
Yeah.
I guess just go follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Bingeaholics Anonymous. Are we on iTunes yet?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. We're on iTunes. It's confirmed. So check us out on iTunes and make sure you guys binge responsibly.